a shot. Try your recording. I've gone ahead and downloaded Microsoft 365 since I didn't have it, and we're going to try using that instead because I think it's a little bit different than the previous stuff. So we're just going to grab two of them. That this is the original data, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy out these two columns. Your columns will be different. I'm just grabbing a couple columns so we have some data just to kind of work with. And there we go. Alright, so Control C, go over to here, Control V, copy them in, and there they are. Okay, so then now, this is Microsoft 365, which is I've never used before. And what I want to do is, hold on, let me get out my direction. Okay, let's see what we got here. Directions say, use Excel, choose your two qualitative numerical questions, right? So it's got to be the numerical ones from the class survey. Write them in here. You don't worry about writing them in. Just don't worry about filling out the sheet. Actually, just go ahead and do them. What data set will you treat as your X variable or input variable? So you should find something here. So what you could do is just on the side over here, type those questions in here. So here's my question number one. So mine are age and height. Height, if I can't spell it. Height in inches. Okay, then number two, let's see. I'm going to pick what data we treat as my X variable, the one that I think will predict. I think age will predict height more than the other way around, so I'm going to pick age. The next one, pick a value of X for which you would like to make a prediction of Y. Alright, so I'm going to say, I don't know, I'm going to predict for the age 30 what someone should be. So let's say age of 30, pick some number, what I think Y, and y'all try to predict what Y should be, what the height should be for an age of 30. So just choose a number there. Good, round number is good. Pick a value for X, yeah, that's number 3. What is your initial impression of the data? Do you think there'd be a linear correlation? I don't know, right? Whatever you think. I guess so. Guess maybe you should get taller as you get older, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe by the time you get this age, by the time you hit college, you've grown as much as you will, so that could be totally wrong. And maybe you get really old, you get shorter, who knows? But yeah, just give me some sort of answer. It's fine. Go to your online survey and copy those in. So I went ahead and did that. I should do that earlier. Control C to copy and then Control V to paste. Make sure you keep these columns in order. Don't go sorting these because this 28 has to stay with this 61. They go together. This is a person. Someone who's 28 is 61 inches tall. You can't put this 28-year-old with this 69 inches. That would be wrong, right? Because these go together. This is one person. This is another person. This 22-year-old is 67 inches tall. So they have to go together. You can't go sorting anything, which is why you had to copy them fresh from the beginning so that you didn't end up with any sort of issues there by them being mismatched and this guy going with this guy being matched up with this one down here or something like that. Right? It's important to keep these in order as they came in because this right here, this is guy number 5. He's 19 years old and he's 67 inches. This is guy number 4. He's 19 years old and he's 68 inches. Right? You got to keep those together and not sort them. They have to stay matched up. Okay. So that's super important. Delete any rows that do not have numerical data in both columns, right? If one column has a blank or bad data, you can't use that person. You have to delete their names. So I'm going to scan down and see if I have anybody who is not, oh, see this one? Nobody in there. So I have to delete these. Just delete them, delete, gone. They're not going to be used at all. Keep going down. Yep. I better go slower than that. Okay, that seems like that is all the rest of them, but right. But again, make sure that if there's any one, let me undo that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. See how there's a data there but no data there? You can't use this. How do you have 20 for your X and no value for your Y? You can't do that. So I have to delete this one. so that the whole thing's blank, and then it just doesn't get used at all. Okay, great. And then I need to find my correlation coefficient R. So I'm going to use the equals Correl function. So my data, I'm going to go over to, it says to do it in E. I'm going to do it, you can do it anywhere you want. So I'm going to type in Correl, just so I understand this is my label. And then I'm going to do equals, here's my function, Correl, parentheses, and then I want to have this array. So that's A2 to, I'm just going to drag and drop it, A2 to A, you can include the blank, that's fine, A2 to A124. Great, that's the first part. And then you'll see it pops in there. And then comma, the second array. You can either left-click drag this one. We'll go ahead and do that one for this one, sure. Come on. Drag. Sometimes you have to move this up and down a little bit to get it to go. There we go. Good. And then toggle on up. And my parentheses and hit enter. Boom, there it is. That's the first one, so that's my correlation. And then the next one is slope equals, should hit Correl equals, oops, not N equals Correl equals, slope equals, this is just my label, and then I need to do the slope for it, right? So I'm going to do the same thing, only with, needs the Y values first, then the X values. Okay, do you see that right here? You need to have the Y first and then the X. So here, I'm going to do equals, slope, parentheses, and then I'm going to do my Y values first. So my Y values was the B2, hold on a second, escape out of there. This is B2 to B124. So I'm going to be lazy with this one and do equals slope, and then it's going to be B2, I think it goes a colon, B124, not the semicolon, be careful, that's got to be a colon, comma, a colon, not semicolon. This is a semicolon. See that little tail thing at the bottom? That is a colon, no little tail thing. And, oh, not just A2, colon, A124. Okay, let's see how that goes. All right, good. And then intercept, again, that's going to be the Y values first, then the X values. All right, so intercept equals, and then this is going to be, make this a little bit larger. So I want to make this column larger so this doesn't, go away. So you're going to go where you have the little black arrows going, with the black line with the little arrows going in both directions. Over here, I don't have it. It's just an arrow down. Over there, there's an arrow down, but here I have it. So I'm going to left-click drag and make it a little bit larger. Okay. Again, left-click drag. You can make it bigger. Drag it around as long as you're holding on the left-click button. Okay. Equals, intercept, parentheses, and I think it's supposed to be B2 colon B124 comma, mine was A2 colon A124, and parentheses again, make sure it's a colon and not a semicolon, or else you're going to have all sorts of issues. And make sure the one in the middle is a comma and not some other weird thing. Someone had something else there once, and again, they had garbage for their data. Worst case scenario, you can always drag them. Okay, now find the averages of each column. So not both columns together. I don't want to know the average of age and height. That wouldn't even make sense. Why would I average an age and a height? I want to average an average of the ages, period, and average of the heights, period. So let me do average age equals. So now I'm going to average just the ages, equals average, parentheses, and this is my A, so I'll just drag and drop it. Drag it down, it's easier, right? Drag it on down. Drag it on down, come on. Go, 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 go. There we go. Enter. And there's that one. and then the average, what's the other one, height, equals, and then here I'm going to put equals. Don't forget your anytime you have a function, it's got to start off with equals. Formula equals average, parentheses, and then this is B2 colon B124, parentheses. Don't forget, it's got to be like that. It's got to have a colon in the middle, not a semicolon, a colon. Okay, great. Next, and not a comma. Someone else had that weird thing. They did B120, B2 and 124, and they had a comma in between here, I think. And what that does is it just takes those two numbers and averages just the top one, 71, and the bottom one, which was 70. So all I did was average 70, B124, and B2, 71, which is obviously 70 and a half, because they put a comma in here, not a colon. So if you put a colon in like you're supposed to, it'll average everything from there to there instead of just those two numbers, and you'll get 66.47, which is the correct average. So make sure you don't make that mistake. And then make a scatter plot. Okay, highlight your two columns of data. Go to your Insert tab and select the first option. Okay, this is where people got some issues, I think. So let's see what we can do here. Highlight it all, blah, 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 all the way down, 124. And I'm going to go to Insert, and then I'm going to pick Insert, and I'm going to pick one that looks like a scatter plot, this one here. Let's see what happens when I do that one. Let's see what happens. It's thinking. Here it is. Oh, that seems okay. Good deal. That seems just fine. Let me move it up, so I'm just going to grab it. I just grabbed it, you know, just to see where you have those, oops, wait till you get the whole thing and you have the little arrows going every direction. Then you can kind of grab it and drag it up. I don't want it down that far. It's kind of far down. It's going to be harder to kind of work with it. So let's drag it on up. It's a little bit closer to everything else, to my averages and stuff. And sometimes you have to just kind of shove it up a little bit. Oh, there we go, too far. Okay, good. Now we got it here. Make it a little bit larger so I can kind of see it better. And you can see my scatter plot. It's kind of cool. I've got, you know, this stuff there, that stuff there. Someone said they had some trouble getting the title to change. You just have to kind of click on it a couple times. So click on it once to make it kind of bring it for the box, and then click on it again, and then I'm in it. So I can say this is age versus height. Okay. All right, so what else does it want me to do? Click on any point. Okay, so click on any point at a regression line. Click on any, right-click on any point in the scatter plot. So you have to be actually on a point. So see how I'm on a point? Over here I'm not. Right here I'm on the little arrows. So if I click on something and right-click, it's just going to give me this stuff. I don't want that stuff. So let me click off of it, and then pick a point. So now I'm on a point. Here I've got the four arrows going every direction. That's not what I want. I need to be on a point. And then it says right-click. Add trend line. That's what we want, add trend line. And then you can see it pops in right here. What kind do you want? I want a linear one. And display equation on chart, display R squared value on chart. Those two I want. Okay, what happens if I just click off of that? Will it put them on there? Oh yeah, there it is. Close that up. Okay, let's see what I got. Trend line, linear, chart. Yeah, you might have to do some other stuff, but mine just popped up just fine. So there we go. There's my trend line there. You can see it. It's in light blue, and then there's my y equals my other one. This is kind of small. I'm going to make it larger. So then it's, oh, that didn't really make it that much larger, did it? I feel like that made it larger. What if I hit this? Will it make it larger? No. All right, well, there you go. That's, oops, arrow back up so I have it. I would like it to be bigger. I don't quite know how to do that. What if I do this? If I drag it down, does that make it larger? No. Kind of. I guess it makes it a little bit larger. Okay. At any rate, so it's a little bit bigger then. You can kind of see this trend line going through there. You can see the y equals, there's my thing. Oh look, here's my slope. My slope is 0.0929. Let's see if that matches up with my slope up here. Oop, good. Oh, it's negative, yep. Negative 0.9286, so yeah, that rounds right. And then my intercept is this one right here, the plus 68.756. That matches up with that there, so that's great. That means that things are on board. That's looking very good. Okay, great. All right, so the next, okay, yep, we did that. We clicked on those things, these things here that said display the equation on chart, and display the r squared values. I'll show you what I'm talking about. When I right-clicked on one of these and did the add trend line thing, I dragged it down and hit these two things in here, the equation on chart and the r squared. Oh, now we did it twice. Anyway, you have to click on those two and then go ahead and close that, and then it should show up. All right, print out 2 copies. You don't have to print them out because you're just going to email me the whole thing. No big deal. Blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about showing the formulas. And then the correlation test. All right, so use a correlation coefficient to a correlation test. Your PPMC table only goes up to 100, and obviously we have more than 100 items here. I have 123, 122, something like that. So just use 100, that's just fine. No worries, just use that for your biggest value. So let me see if I can pull up my correlation coefficient. Handouts. PPMC table. So you're going to open up your PPMC table, and you're going to take a look at it and try to find, the lowest one has 100 and figure out the level of significance. I think we probably picked alpha's 0.05, so here it is, and then it's going to use the bottom one. I'm not going to show it to you because you have to look it up on your own, but go ahead and figure out what that should be, and show off steps neatly written on a separate piece of paper. So I do need you to go ahead and write that down, write it out, and then take a picture of that and upload that PDF with your Excel sheet. Or you could theoretically type it in here as well. That's not a problem if you wanted to try to type it onto this Excel sheet here. And then prediction line. Use the linear regression line to predict your value of your y variable that we reject from the x value selected. So here, right in your linear equation line, well, I have it right here. I can just do it right here. You can do it on the bottom of that sheet if you want. So here, I'm going to do my test. And again, if you reject H naught, then you can use the line because you've proven it as a line. But if you do not reject H naught in your test, then you should not use a line. You should use you should use something else, right? Your Y bar probably. So, and you do have both of your average stuff in here. So you kind of figure that out and sort that out. But remember again, if you reject H naught and it is a line, so then you should use this linear regression line, this line right here, to predict. But if your data is not a line, then this line here is total BS and you should not be using it. Instead, you should use your average Y and your average X to predict X and Y. Okay, so you'll figure that out once you do a correlation test. And correlation test, we did a bunch of those in class, so I'm not going to show you that here. But, you'll find your predicted Y value based upon this. So this part here, the correlation and the prediction, you should do that, write that out neatly on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and upload that as a PDF to go along with this, and email both the copy of this Excel sheet here and the PDF of a photocopy of your handwritten work for this. All right, that is it.